Welcome back to the podcast, guys. Before we jump into things here, a quick word from today's sponsor, and that is Backwoods Bumpers. It's a product that I truly stand behind. We've been running their bumpers for many years now, but they're not just bumpers. They've got many other things as well, such as tow hold, subframe kits for the Polaris. You got big wheel kits, rail braces, and many things in between. So be sure to check them out at backwoodsbmp.com.
All right, welcome back to the Post Ride Podcast here. Call it Post Ride Podcast, but we didn't do much riding today, that's for sure. We just got back from our camping trip yesterday, and today we got Doug, Derek, myself, and Eric, or Jerry. And yeah, we'll just shoot the shit about how it's been for the last month or so with these guys. And it is the end of their trip. There's no more riding. I mean, there's no more riding out there anyway. But yeah, Doug, how's it going?
Oh, good. I mean, it's been a good trip all in all. Got skunked a bit here in the weather lately, but we made the best of it.
Yeah.
You know, that 2-day outing was something. Sleeping in the bush. Not one of my favorite things, but excellent adventure.
Yeah, I had to twist your arm a bit. But on that one to get you out there. But
Oh, yeah.
It looked like you were having fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some good fun.
You definitely enjoyed yourself, that's for sure.
Some people may have enjoyed themselves too much, but we won't get into that yet.
Yeah.
Doug, this year you're running a 2024 Summit Expert Turbo 165, right?
That's right, yep.
How are you liking having a turbo?
Oh, the power's excellent. I think it's a little heavier. I know it's heavier than the other sled. But other than that, it works great. Like, I mean, on the steep pulls, it's...
Yeah, that's what you like,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You like to go straight up.
That's right. But there's one hill that defeated me. I'm kind of...
Oh, we never made it back there.
No, that one where we went in Cranberry, I think.
Finally got Jerry, the OG Jerry, here on the podcast.
How was your trip?
I had a great time. Yeah. So Alaska was fun. I had a good time at Christmas riding with Jason. There was we thought there was low snow, but it was good snow. And then it didn't snow for a while. We went to Alaska for a bit, and then that was extremely interesting. Good time. Learned a lot. And then we got dumped on. Huge snow when we came back here, to the point the 165 Turbo struggled.
I think we were all struggling.
But, yeah, because the one time I had to rescue all you guys. And it's on the camera, so you can't lie.
You're the only one not stuck because you're just
you even have a mark on your sled from it.
Oh, yeah. It ran me right over.
Yeah. Should have ran you over.
Yeah.
But now it's not very good, that's for sure. It's
No.
the worst I've ever seen. I've been coming out this way on and off for 20 years.
Yeah, you called your trip early, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, there's just absolutely no worthwhile riding right now. Town, it's all dirt, and up top it's all wet and concrete. And
If the sun was shining, there'd still be some good riding.
if the sun was shining, it would be fun, but it's all
Yeah.
socked in, so...
Well, it's just spring conditions now. Like, it's been above freezing now for what since Sunday. So
Yes.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
5
Thursday.
days,
5.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a long time. And
Yeah.
We got a couple more, too.
Yeah.
At least in the spring, you got sunshine probably 70% of the time, right? So
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. That's for sure. I don't know if the locals have seen anything like this.
From
but,
what I'm hearing in town is they haven't.
no. Yeah, I mean, not to sound like a bunch of complainers here. Like, it's still nice that we could get out and ride because there's a lot of people like back in Ontario that there's no riding at all.
Nothing
But
to do.
it's definitely been the winter of complaints for snow for everybody across pretty much North America. So
Oh, we've just been so spoiled over the years.
Yeah.
Every year I come out here, I generally get really good snow, and
well, that's why we come here, right?
yeah.
Not working so well this time.
No.
But Jerry, what you're running 2 sleds this year? Your 154 Summit Expert Turbo and your 165.
yeah, it worked out good for me because I took the 165 to Alaska, didn't know what to expect. So it was just like nice to cruise the Alpine with that, and do some good pulls, and came back here, rode it because the snow was so deep. But as the snow settled out, it's nice to have a 154 because I can definitely ride it a little bit. A
little
bit
more
better.
playful for you?
Yeah, a little more playful. I like getting up on the rear axle.
Doing your turn downs.
Yep.
Mouse trapping yourself.
I never did this year. Came close a couple times
Yeah,
trying
you-
to do re-entries, but
You were
We're
close a
almost-
few times.
we're almost there.
And are you going to be spring ordering a new sled this year, or just going to?
I don't think so. I basically have 3 sleds. I still have an NA that Jason rides. So the 165 I think only has 700 kilometers on it. My 154 has 2,800, and my NA has 2,800. So
You could probably throw another year warranty on the 154 turbo too.
yeah, so I definitely they're getting too expensive.
Well-
honestly, like I've been buying new sleds every year pretty well my whole life, and if you could sell them right now, it'd be a lot better. But you're buying a new sled and you can't sell your old sled. It makes it a little painful.
Well, everything's been expensive this year. It was an expensive year for
Me.
for
Me.
You haven't had to pay anything yet. You're just
I
using
know.
rental sleds for free right now.
I know.
Yeah, it's cheap for you.
At my expense.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to ride your
Lowers our
turbo when you
expense.
leave.
Good.
We're fueling your sled and oil, and you're using it.
No, I've been paying for the fuel, and I brought 70 liters of oil, so I'm good.
No. But yeah, you had a tough break there with writing your sled off, eh?
Well, we don't know if it's right.
we don't know what they're saying. Do you want to get into that at all?
I don't. There's not a whole lot to say about it. I made a dumb mistake and just should have stayed calmer and no goggles and couldn't see. My eyes were frozen.
Ripping across the Alpine and
Yeah, and
hit a
just-
bit of a wall. And
I saw down tracks and
yeah,
I was like,
well,
oh,
you
I
s-
could poke up here. I mean, I just came down there and then just tried to lift the skis and piled it right into a rock.
Yeah, I heard you on the radio and I ripped over to you and I saw you there. I'm like, oh, dude, that was dumb. And then I'm just thinking everything's all right. It's the sled's just stuffed into the hill.
Yeah.
We pull it out of the bank there, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get your bag, and just fire the sled up, and I'll be back in a minute. Derek's pulling on it when I get back.
Dude, it was
He's
so
like,
hard to pull over.
yeah, he's like, it won't start. I'm like, what do you mean it won't start? I go over, I pull it. I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
So pull the panels off. I see the clutch is grinding on the chassis. I'm like, I didn't really say anything to Derek because I knew it was bad.
I
but
was trying to keep my cool too because I was like, oh man, I just smashed my snowmobile. I've only ridden 4 days,
Yeah, it was right at the start. But
so it kind yeah, it definitely blows. It's not. It is the sport. That's what you guys keep telling me, but yeah, it's just having to ride someone else's snowmobile. You're more tentative to what you try or what you do, and I guess your progression is limited a little bit. But
yeah, you're definitely not riding somebody else's sled like you would if it was your own. And I think you're definitely more cautious. You're a little scared to smash somebody else's sled up.
well,
Whereas
yeah, they're not cheap, like Eric said,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be into either one of you for a snowmobile too. So
have either of you guys ever written off a snowmobile?
Complete write-off, no.
No,
Not a
I've
complete,
always
no.
always been able to fix it.
Yeah.
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 What's your biggest
I think a Mach 1 tree
tree on a trail?
on a trail, icy corner, riding slow and
Slow?
cautiously.
You ride slow?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
we were out riding. Doug and I were actually out riding all day, and riding pretty quick like we normally do. And when you're riding quick, you're on the ball and you know what's going on, and you can steer around obstacles. So we went out for dinner, had dinner, nothing to drink, maybe one drink. So alcohol was not a factor. Cruising home, and just taking my time going home and enjoying the good ride that we had during the day, and hit an icy corner and slammed right into a tree.
I do find it hard to believe that you guys were driving slow, but I'll take your word for it. Sure.
I don't believe it.
No,
That were you riding slow?
which time?
What about the time you were damaged your sled? Not rode off, but
Oh, I don't want to really get into the whole day because
what sled was that?
On MXZ 670.
Oh, right on.
When did you guys start riding together originally?
TNT days.
Yeah. I didn't have a sled when I first went up to Dorset and met Eric and Karen and Guy, and I had a bike studded up. I rode it on the ice.
And you couldn't really call it riding because nobody's sled ever ran long enough to ride together.
Yeah, I used to hear lots of stories of you just rebuilding your sled multiple times in a weekend in the marina parking lot. And
The one winter, I think it was 7 pistons.
is that? It sounds like maybe like a mechanic error. Like
No,
having,
the 340. Anybody that's old and remembers the 340 Freer at TNT will remember it 8 pistons. Skidoo tried to do a bunch of fixes on it, and I don't think they ever did.
No, they weren't a good motor.
Yeah,
I had the 440 fan cooled. Didn't make great power, but they kept running. 78, that was the first sled I had.
so that's basically when you guys.
Well, I started going up there like 84, so
Oh, okay.
but we still had old sleds.
yeah.
That was
yeah.
new for us.
Yeah.
We didn't buy. My first brand new snowmobile was a SS25. So whenever Skidoo celebrated their 25 years in business is when I bought the first snowmobile.
That was 84, I think.
Yeah, it was a leaf spring suspension. There was definitely nothing special.
No.
And then the year after that, I bought a Formula Plus 521. That was a nice snowmobile compared to Leaf Spring SS25.
Do you think you guys would still be riding if you had to ride those sleds today?
Absolutely. Once you got the fever, it never goes away because everybody else would be riding the same thing.
Yep.
I mean, you wouldn't know any better.
No, that's right.
No.
Progression just wouldn't have grown to where it is now, though. So
Yeah.
still riding trails, dirt in Ontario.
If you were to ride an old Summit in these conditions, though, you'd probably have a lot more fun than these sleds because
Probably,
because
honestly.
these sleds go anywhere, and the old Summit, the original Summit, would probably still be a challenge to climb hills. So
Yeah.
you'd actually might have more fun. You need ultimate snow for these snowmobiles these days.
And was your guys' first trip to the mountains?
I think it was about 20 years ago. I don't remember the exact year, but I came out here to Revelstoke with a big group of guys, and we came during the week of the Big Iron Shootout. And
Did you stick around and watch the whole thing?
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah,
Did you specifically come knowing that was
yes,
then?
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Was that 03, Eric? Because I came out in 04, I think. The year
it might
after.
it might have been
Somewhere around there.
yeah. I'm not 100% sure. It was I think it was the first year of the Rev chassis and a mountain sled. So whatever year that was.
And is that what you rented? Was the Rev, or did you have some?
No,
like old
rented.
ZX?
We rented from
Shady.
Mark Shady here in town. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Good times.
The trip dynamic has changed quite a bit over the years, eh?
Yeah, we used to come out for
More of a party?
4 to 6 days. Yeah, when all the guys get together, you definitely, it's a good social environment too. But the riding wasn't real serious because in 4 to 6 days you can't really improve your riding. You need to spend time out here to be able to improve your riding.
Plus, we never left the parking lot till noon hour. 11:30 maybe.
This year was very similar.
Wow.
You want to talk about your Thunder Bay and back trip?
Oh, the good old long distance ripping.
Yeah. What made you guys want to do that?
Not sure. Well, no, we're I don't know, having a few cocktails one night maybe, and first year of the tops and map came out. Ontario tops.
Doug threw the map on the table and said, "We're going here." And I was the only one dumb enough to go with him.
So it was actually a trail on a map that said you could go from central Ontario all the way
Absolutely, there was
Thunder
two.
Bay,
There was
yep.
2 routes: the northern route through Hearst, and then the southern route through Red Rock and Scribard, Terrace Bay, and all that. And the southern route was not there. It never.
How'd you find that out?
We found that out basically from the president of the White River.
White
River. The president, he seen us filling up gas when we came through his town, and he was so excited because the trails were absolutely incredible. Doug and I wondered how they could possibly groom them on the coast of Superior there, because it's very similar to this terrain, except not as high elevation. And he came to talk to us to how his trails were and everything like that. And he told us that the trail will never be groomed and can never be groomed past Terrace Bay towards Red Rock, because the terrain is it's all cliff. There's just no way through it. But the OFSC put a map out that said there was a trail there. We had to go across the top of Nipigon Bay on the frozen lake, and that was a long ride.
But we got a good leader. We had a leader we found.
We had
in Red Rock.
we had a native that was in the area, and he'd been across there before, so he led us across there.
Yeah.
Was there a logging road or trail through the bush, or there was just
Nothing.
Oh.
No.
Be the highway or the lake.
Even once we hit the highway, we had to run the highway because there was still no trails when we got into the bigger part of Lake Superior. We ran the highway, but they were on strike that year, and there was a foot of snow on the highway. So I think I'm not exactly sure. I think Scriber or something like that is before we got back on the trails, and they were steep and
When we went
rugged.
to gravel, he led us to gravel.
Yeah, but then we rode the highway to Scriber. I
Yeah,
think,
that's
right.
right.
And was it on the way there or back that you guys
On the
got
way
lost?
back.
Oh, yeah, on the way home.
Yeah.
So we made it to Thunder Bay in 4 days, and we're going, well, that wasn't bad. That was good going.
Yeah.
And then trying to come home was a different story.
But we still broke trail for a long time.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
the second day out. There was a huge snowstorm. This is probably the most snow Ontario's had since that time. There's probably a good, without exaggeration, 6 feet of snow through most of northern Ontario.
It was deep.
Yeah, every time we came into a town, the locals called our sleds post hole diggers because they would just get stuck straight up. And
What were you guys riding at the time?
583s.
yeah, MXZ 583.
1996.
Those were a good motor, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4,000 K. We greased them in Thunder Bay, and that's all we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's a big trip.
not
Yeah.
one breakdown.
So 7 days total?
9 days.
9.
9 days total.
The worst part of the whole trip was we were in what town? Duberville.
Duberville. We were going to Shop
We were in
Low.
Duberville going to Chapleau. I think we were in Duberville at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. A wise person would have said, "Hey, let's stay here," but sometimes we weren't that wise, and we decided to march through. And they said to make sure you stop in Miznabbie to get gas because you'll never make Chapleau. We get to Miznabbie, and all we seen is abandoned railway station and
Snowbanks.
general store, because the snowbanks were so high on the train tracks, we couldn't see that there was a gas station on the other side of the train tracks. So we marched on. Probably about 50 kilometers later, met a groomer on the lake, buried halfway up the windows, and then from there on in, it was just trying to find our way to Chapleau through the national park.
We couldn't even find the
No.
trail. There was no trail markings. We're like in the middle of nowhere.
At midnight, we had the compass out because the moon was up, trying to figure out what direction we're going.
And we had to stomp in the snow. If we thought we knew where the trail was, we'd have to get off the machine, stomp, and find the hard part of it, and then realize that's still a trail.
We got to a clear.
like it was.
We got to a clear-cut area probably just a little after midnight on the top of a hill, and there's a stop sign there, and there's only sticking out of the ground about this far. And you knew the trail came through there at one time, and it's just clear-cut. And we drove along the tree line to see if we could find a spot that the trail went through, and we found it. At first we seen a single track like a trapper, and we started following it. But when we took the compass out, it was leading our way back to the highway, which was no help to us at all. We needed to get to Chapleau. So,
Well, then it was fuel.
yeah,
Fuel problems.
and I started doing the math in my head how far we're going to get on fuel. We were carrying 2 gallons each, and I figured if we took 4 gallons and dumped it in my snowmobile, it just got a little better fuel mileage than Doug's.
That's because I was breaking trail all the time.
That we would probably we'd probably get within 10 kilometers of Chapleau, and I was pretty confident we were young and healthy and we could walk that last 10K. But so when Doug ran out of fuel, I was braking trail at that time, and he was behind me. I seen his lights go out, turned around, and he's getting ready to dump the fuel in. And it took me 15 minutes to talk him into not dumping the fuel in that sled. And we made it. We made it to Chapleau when we got there.
Yeah, riding 2 up.
Yeah, we left all our luggage in the
left
bush.
mine in the bush.
Yeah. Rode 2 up. We rung the bell at the motel. I think it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. Lady came out. She was pretty upset, but then she looked at us and went, "Where'd you guys come from?" We said, "Duberville." She goes, "You kidding me?" She goes, "Nobody ever comes through there without phoning ahead first, and the last people that came through got lost, and they had to send a search party out from the next morning."
Yeah, they slept in the bush.
Yeah,
I guess.
so if we would have ran out of gas or not found our way out there, nobody knew we were there. Then, and she also said there's only 10 people through all year. And what time of year we go? March, beginning of March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
End of February.
Yeah. Interesting trip.
Well, it was quite a trip. We're never going to forget it.
Yeah.
So what year was that?
96.
What year did you run the I-500s?
91 and 94.
How was that?
Well, it was an experience. It's just never raced at something that big in the States, and it's quite a performance. Our sleds were good, not very fast in 91, but just didn't have enough seat time to get better results. I finished top skidoo though that year, 91 out of the.
Did you finish both years?
Yep, finished both years.
You want to talk about the time when you lost your goggles? Because it seems like it runs in the family.
Yeah. I guess there's something similar there, eh?
Frozen eyes?
Yeah, 94, I think I would have done a lot better than 50th. Sleds were faster. I think I was in better shape, but there's a lot of open water coming out of Thunder Bay in the first probably 15 miles, and like I don't mind water crossing. I'm pretty good at it. So, but I got sprayed and washed down by guys I was passing, and goggles all froze up, and thought I'd run like I used to race air scrambles and bikes with no goggles. Well, it doesn't work in the winter.
You still run with no goggles.
I know, but when it's warmer, only when it's warmer. Like it was minus 15 back then.
No, it's colder
Those
than that
races,
morning. It was
pretty
a very cold morning.
Minus 20
Yeah.
So once you finished, these guys taped your eyes shut?
at night. Yeah, because I was completely blind when I got off the sled. But
Taped your eyes shut.
So where did you fall back to?
I don't know. I was like 200th.
And then the next day?
Yeah, I passed over 100 guys. I don't know. I worked my way up to 60th or something, but.
That's good fun.
Yeah, it
I
was
couldn't.
good.
I
Yep,
couldn't
good.
imagine doing anything like that.
Well, there's 400 guys in that event.
Really?
So water skimming back in the day wasn't it a big event? Seems like I see a lot of old photos around.
Well, there's a few.
Yeah, we started at a small area with shallow water, and a friend of mine and myself, we built a skimmer where you could. This is when skimming wasn't even that popular yet, where you could pretty well hang the skis in the water and take off. And we used to go 2 up, 3 up, 4 up, and then skimming just got bigger in the town of Dorset under the 2 bridges, and I sank there one year and. Before you could go end to end, and then the next year we were able to. I think the 91 Mach 1 made it end to end, didn't it? Or the 890 Mach 1 made it end to end, right?
The 89
was
too.
the first.
Yeah.
Those are the first years you were actually
because
able
I
to
sank
skim
on
right
a
through.
88 Formula Plus. Yeah.
There was that
The tomato, yeah. Doug and I were out in a boat trying to fish it out of the bottom of the lake. It didn't have a plug in it. With your foot over the hole, trying to. We fished it though. We got the meat hook from the local butcher store. He lent it to us, and we fished her out. Ate the local
boat.
paper. Where angels fear to tread.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Probably not the best publicity, but.
I mean, nowadays people would be up in arms with sinking a snowmobile, but yeah, obviously it doesn't happen anymore. I remember being a little kid and there'd be 50 to 100 sleds at the Narrows when it got warm out, and
It
actually
used to be the thing to do on the weekend, go over to the Narrows and watch the skimming, but
I don't know what happened, why it fizzled away. I think a big part of it is many of the snowmobiles don't skim anymore because the belts grab water, and I believe that the police charged a couple people with careless driving, and that put a big damper on things. But it used to draw a huge crowd, and nobody ever got hurt, and it was a lot of fun. But you know what Ontario's like; it's the no fun province.
Some of the struggles of getting older and trying to keep up with a crew, a younger crew.
What do you mean? You guys can't keep up to me? No,
I
balance.
should maybe direct that towards you a little bit, because
The days are challenging. Eric gets a bit more seat time in than me, and he's still in good shape. I mean, I'm trying, but it's fun though. The challenge is good.
you're doing really well.
Yeah, I've been progressing. Maybe not quite as much this year. Maybe flatlined a bit, but
Oh, you guys are the only two out of all your buddies that are still doing this. So
yeah, most of them aren't very interested.
I love the challenge. A lot of people just like the soft lifestyle, you know, sitting on a beach, going out for dinner. But I like being challenged.
you like punishment?
I
Enjoys
do.
the suffering.
I do enjoy the suffering.
I think
I enjoy being on the edge of a cliff, trying to side hill it and hoping that you don't die. And at the time, it might not be so enjoyable, but when you get through it, it's. I'm an adrenaline junkie, always have been, and it's the adrenaline of mountain riding that fuels my energy.
Do you guys find that like maybe you create a mental barrier sometimes if you get defeated? Like, I know that you mentally were beat down there for a couple days, but then you had one good day and it's like you rebounded to start riding good again.
A lot of it's exhausting. Like just the work and you get mentally tired. And if you have a tough day, you're not that inspired the next day, but you just got to keep working through it.
If you make mistakes in the morning, it tends to affect your afternoon, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like you definitely get in your head a lot more than you used to. You used to just say, "Screw you," and make it work. But now sometimes you come on the radio, "I can't do it."
Well, I physically, when I first came out here, if my sled was on its side, I was not strong enough to ride it. And I am now at the end of the trip. I've gotten a little stronger, believe it or not, but you do get a lot weaker when you get older, and it really hinders your ability to get unstuck. As long as you're riding, everything is okay, but when you get stuck, and not having the strength to get it yourself out becomes very frustrating, because I've always been able to get myself out.
You're not really alone there, not being able to roll your sled over by yourself, though. Like,
I can't do it sometimes.
I can't either, especially if you're
Roll it
just
downhill.
on a shitty off camber angle. You know, I lots of times don't have the strength, so you just have to kind of make it work. There's, the easiest way out isn't the easiest when you're by yourself.
Well, I had to dig beside my snowmobile this year and dig a hole so I could roll it into the hole and then drive it out. So I don't see you guys doing that. So
I was digging the sides this year too a lot.
No, we do the same stuff. It just depends the position of the sled.
I guess you guys are so much higher up the mountain we don't see it, but I think you're just trying to make us feel good.
Sometimes. Some days go so good for me, and then others it's just disastrous. I'm good for like 3 stucks, and then I get stuck more and more and more, and then next thing you know, I'm yelling.
Do you guys ever get pissed off when you get stuck a few times and start to, swear and curse?
It becomes frustrating because every time I get stuck takes energy out of my riding for later in the day, and I'm only good for so many stucks now that I won't be able to have the energy to ride later in the day. Then you make more mistakes.
More mistakes.
Yeah. Last year I hardly ever got stuck at all, and I didn't do a lot of digging and not a lot of pulling. This year there was a lot more stucks, especially when the snow was deep. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see you stuck that often when it was
Well,
steep.
but last year I hardly ever got stuck.
I
so.
saw you a lot of times this year thinking you were stuck when you weren't, though.
Yeah, because I don't have the skill to get out of it.
No,
Out of it like you do.
You're thinking you don't, but
Yeah.
just because I do understand it. You don't want to dig yourself in and create more work for yourself when you know you're kind of on borderline stuck. So you're
because
trying
when
to.
you saw yourself all the way in, that's really
Then it's really shitty.
that's
yeah.
I know all about that.
Yeah, I definitely came back a couple times, and sled was held up by the A-arms, and I'm like, dude.
Well, the
if you-
165 turbo, when you're
yeah,
getting close to trees and you got to grab a handful, it goes straight up and down.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the long track. It's a long way down when it's
Yeah.
buried.
Yeah.
I know the one day that you struggled, I kept coming back and being like, if you feel it sink, just like let off the gas, get off, pack it, because every
yeah.
time that happens, it's just so much work.
Yeah.
But you did good, dude. You were ripping.
Yeah,
Thanks for the
you
compliment.
guys both
Yeah,
did good
it's
this
a
year.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. It's it's a struggle sometimes trying to figure out where we're going to ride because the train around here isn't really beginner friendly, right? It's straight up everywhere we go, and I want to take you guys to the good riding zones.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's definitely some shitty stuff I have to take you through to get to the good stuff, and some days I'm a little overconfident in the group's abilities, I think, and I'm just like, yeah, we'll go here, it'll be good, and then unfortunately some guys struggle to get through it, and then by the time we get to the good riding, they're tired for it.
He's always saying we'll be driving in the truck. He goes, "Where are we going? Is Matthew taking me to the shit?"
Got to do the shit to get the good stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's part of the reason why majority of the crew has consistently progressed every single year, because when you're challenged like that, you're forced to do shit that you're uncomfortable with, and that makes you way better.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and with how many people are riding around here, we have to push to these technical zones,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, it's crazy where they find tracks now.
Yeah, like what do you guys remember what it was like when you first started coming out here to find untracked snow? Did you have to go very far? What was it like driving around town? Was it like dozens and dozens of pickup trucks with sled decks? Like, was the Boulder lot is what
Boulder
it is
lot
now?
has always been big. Maybe not quite as many trucks as there is now, but this has always been an extremely popular area. But I'd say 70% of the people wouldn't go much past the meadow in front of the Boulder cabin.
Yeah.
No, that's about as far as
Yeah,
we go.
so you could go down Shady Lane about 500 feet and find fresh powder every time, because that's a lot of them just couldn't get any further.
We first came out in 2017. I think that's your first trip. Yeah.
Yeah, I was on
we
a
did
137.
First trip the same year, and we literally it hadn't snowed for 3 weeks here. We went down Shady Lane, and then we found untracked snow. But now, after a few days, you go in there, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's pretty
tracked right
Yeah,
out.
it's pretty. I don't know. There's a lot of guys going up Boulder every day.
In the back areas too, like Griffin used to be a pretty calm spot. Now you go up there and it's just every inch of it's tracked.
When you used to come out in the early 2000s, did you ride anything other than Boulder?
Boulder, Frisbee, and Turtle. That's because we rented sleds. We didn't have no way to trailer them, so that's all we ever rode.
Yeah. What?
We went down to Hall a couple times because we got a ride with a couple people. So
So it wasn't until basically when we all started coming out here that you ventured into all these
when
other.
we started bringing trailers out ourselves,
Yeah.
that's when we started venturing to all these places, which is way more fun.
Yeah, you can only see the same trees so many times.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate to tag with these guys, and especially Matthew. He's dragged us up some pretty interesting terrain to get to special spots. It's
That's for
cool.
sure.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Bringing you guys along, and it's good. The father son.
Yeah. Something
I think when you
forget.
first started coming
Yeah.
out here and you started getting better than everybody, you didn't feel that way, that you felt we were a burden and you wanted to ride with the big names, but you seem to be more at ease with riding with us now, and I'm not sure why.
He's making money off you.
No, when I was definitely progressing more as a rider, I wanted to, push and ride with guys that were better than me too. So it was like, obviously I still wanted to ride with you guys, but it was I wanted to do both. And when I was only out here for a month, there was only so much time. So I did do a little bit of both back then. But now when I'm out here for the whole winter, the start of my year, I was riding with like ridiculous guys, pushing myself really hard every day, and then come back after the holidays, and I'm like, okay, I can relax and get some work done. And
So, Doug, that's what he calls it, riding with us.
Yeah, relaxing
eh?
when he's riding with us. Yeah, I know. It's easy.
It's so relaxing, they should help us dig out some more.
Quick break in the podcast to talk about Deviant Inc. We're running their wraps on all of our sleds this year, and we're rocking the Muskoka signature wrap. If you haven't seen it yet, be sure to check it out. I'm stoked on the design, and we're running multiple color arrays across all of our different sleds, multiple finishes. The options are literally endless, so be sure to check it out at deviantinc.com.
Man, I helped a lot, dude.
No, I know. You did. You saved my ass the one day, Derek.
I don't help you very often.
Help me.
No, only when I'm really bad off.
I mean, you guys bicker, we bicker. It's the whole
yeah.
father-son thing. But,
Yeah.
just like how you used when you're only here for a month or whatever, it's kind of like a go situation. So, like,
Yeah.
I notice that when I'm riding with you, my whole goal is just to try to keep you close so that I can, I don't know, it's a friendly competition.
Yeah.
And
for
then I
sure.
get him on the radio going, yeah, I'm going to need a ski tug. Go back down, get him out, go another 100 feet. Dad, you all right? Just leave me here.
That was just one day.
Yeah, no, that was honestly.
I remember always hearing you guys, like, the competition between you, when you were coming out here and me and Derek were stuck in Ontario. And you guys would talk about how you're always snaking each other's lines and trying to keep up with each other. Is the competition still there, or is it now just like a survival
I think it's
mentality?
just a survival mentality now.
Yeah. No, we're still pretty competitive, but I don't push like I used to.
Well,
It's conditioning.
yeah, you like the hill climb stuff, whereas you're not a big.
No, I'm not a big hill climb guy.
hill climb guy.
I like the trees, not too tight, but I like finding good powder in trees and just booting it through the trees. That's my favorite. So
Yeah, you haven't. I haven't seen you do any shoots or nothing too crazy. Whereas, Doug likes to get in those shoots once in a while.
Yeah, I do. I like the big climbs.
Yeah,
he's always been like that. Every time he's seen a hill, anytime we went anywhere,
he'd be going up it, and then he'd be coming right back down out of control wherever it was pointed.
Probably something I grew up with, because I remember the first snowmobile my dad bought was a '69 Olympic, 18 horsepower. And where I grew up in Snellgrove,
Flatlands.
well, no, there was some big hills. Like at the time, we thought.
A big hill for 18 horse. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's my dad used to go out with all his buddies every Friday night, and he'd always come home with a story of who wrecked their snowmobile, who rolled it down the hill. But
Now that's just a common thing here.
yeah,
I wish I could see like what your guys' riding like was in like the 2000s or even just before we started coming out. I wish like there was video of that to look back on and see like what kind of shit you guys were really doing, because we hear the stories, but things get a little inflated over the years.
yeah, they do.
We definitely didn't ride anything like we ride now.
Well, that's not necessarily skill though. That's the snowmobiles.
Well, not the snowmobiles and the people you're riding with too. We always had a guide that look after us, and if there's people that didn't get far enough along on the hill, you couldn't just keep going because the guide would bring you back, right? So you'd have to always stick with the people you're riding with, and it was always a big group.
Yeah, you guys would come out with like a dozen of you sometimes.
8 to 12 people, yeah.
Yeah.
Went to Utah a couple of years
Yeah.
with a couple big groups, and I mean we had fun, but it didn't really develop our riding.
No, when you only ride 4 to 6 days a year in the mountains, you're just starting back off at the same spot you left the year before.
Right.
A little bit of progression, but you can't really get anywhere.
No.
It's that I mean, my first year was 2017. I think I maybe took a year off. I was in school, couldn't get out here.
Yeah.
And every time until 2022, I only spent a week or two out here. So you just starting to figure things out, and then you go home. And then you wait a year and you come back, and it's just like I never really progressed until I spent like 3 weeks here, which was 2022.
Think you're going to progress in your mind. You have such high
Huge.
expectations
Yeah.
when you're first coming out. And what are your guys' expectations when you're coming back out? Like,
I'm always feel like I'm going to do better than I ever have. I'm going to
Yeah,
send
you're
it.
the same way as us.
I worked out really hard this year, and when I got here, it was like, holy Christ, I really didn't work out that hard, but I did. It's the snowmobile rode me.
you got to get just a chassis in the garage and do snowmobile exercises.
Yeah, the stand-up riding with this on is there's no exercise that mimics that, unfortunately.
No.
So
You can I think working out obviously helps, but there's no real way to 100% prepare yourself to snowmobile.
No.
Muscle groups are just too different, I think. Maybe some people would say otherwise, but
I think I should have rode more this year, though, on the bike because, you know, that's the least amount of dirt biking I've done this year, and that does help me because my balance I was struggling with balance a bit this year, and that's not good.
you were also dealing with some injuries too,
I
though,
know.
like
Oh, yeah.
your leg
There's always that.
sciatic nerve and problem like that, and then a
The
foot,
shoulder Yeah, physio all fall trying to get
Do
the
you guys
shoulder
have
working.
any good parts left, or are they all kind of?
No, we're good. We're good.
I don't know. I seem to be able to just tilt this up pretty good.
Speaking of that, Dad, do you want a beer?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a beer. That'd be great if you guys can spare one. Awesome. Thank you.
Now we're just getting started.
Yeah.
Not to make it sound like you guys are like really getting old, but how long do you think you want to come out here and push your abilities?
Or even not push your abilities.
How long do you want to come out here and enjoy yourself?
I would like to do it till I'm 70. Honestly.
I would really hope to ride at least another 5 years. So, I mean, I know it might get a bit ugly some days, but I certainly mentally don't want to quit because I love the sport.
Oh no, if it
Keeps you young too, right?
I was gonna say
Keeps
if you quit, then
yeah, you're done.
yeah. What else
Yeah.
do you got to live for?
I look
Yeah,
forward to
exactly.
coming out here all year, and it definitely keeps me young. I'm going to definitely struggle when I can't do this anymore with ways to push myself. So
Keep you coming till you're 80.
Yeah, well,
even if we're just
yeah,
riding to the
that's not
cabin.
going to work.
We're gonna get a caboose,
No.
throw both of
No.
you in it with a couple beers.
Could probably get a side cart hooked up on a snowmobile.
No, it's not. That's not happening. We'll be able to keep getting there, but maybe not to the same places.
Nah,
We'll
you'll
get snowmobiles with gyros, so they're self-righting all the time, and then we'll go.
Just sit there.
No, I think you guys still have a lot of years left. We might not be doing super gnarly tree riding type stuff, but to get up there and still get into the deep POW and the Alpine and mash those meadows, which
We all know you guys
Well,
will.
what we might have to do when we get older is come later in the season when it's sunny and we do alpine riding.
right now you
March.
like to come early season because
There's nothing to do in Ontario,
exactly.
right?
Except this year you're going to go home where usually you would get into snowmobiling, and
Yeah, the snowmobiling's as bad here as it is in Ontario.
so I don't know if I go that far, but
Well, at least there's snow here, but
you're going
Yeah.
home to go to work there.
yeah, I got to go to work and it's there is some snow at home, but none of the trails are open, so
The lakes aren't
none of the lakes are
safe.
frozen. It's a pretty sad year.
When's the last time you guys can remember that it's, February 1st today?
Yeah,
And the lakes are still not frozen at home?
that's happened before. It really has.
Yeah.
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 Been late January, but
But
this is
2000,
definitely
2001 were really bad years. Low snow, El Nino winters, really warm, sunny days all the time. Very little ice. The one year when you were on March break and we were riding on March break and we had to end March break early and the ice went
Oh,
out.
the ice was basically
Yeah.
disappearing behind us as we were riding
that
across
was
the lake.
that was a really bad year.
What year was that?
I like 2012.
Last year you were in school, right?
Do you remember we were leaving the cottage? Maybe was the same year, and it was like I'm on this little toboggan sleigh, and we're just going from our place through Fletcher Bay, and the narrows were pretty open. The ice was all black, and he goes, "Oh, you better hold on." And we skimmed the narrows, and I was standing on the little trailer behind the snowmobile, and
It's one of those dog sled, the dog sled style.
And you
I just-
skimmed.
it
Yeah.
wasn't that far, maybe like
Wasn't
10
that
feet,
far, no.
but I just leaned back and got completely soaked with water.
Well,
and
I would assume so. Remember that time you wanted to tow us across open water on a jet ski or a GT snow racer?
Yeah.
But behind the snowmobile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We said
would've
no,
been
so he's like, just watch,
scary.
I'll tow it across without you on it, and then he towed it across without us on it, and it just exploded.
Well, I was going to put a life jacket on. Yeah.
Have you ever found yourself in a sketchy predicament on thin ice?
Oh, more than once. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not.
Two things
Well-
come to mind for me. I was always one to go check the ice in Quagama Lake, and I'd have an axe with me, and I'd go into bays, and I got all the way to Fishbowl Point. There was 6 inches of ice, and then I have to make the big commitment to go around Fishbowl. And I'm running there, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't think there's much ice out here. The snow is different. The ice is different. There was a freeze line. And I figured I'm just going to play it safe, drive around 80 kilometers an hour in a straight line, not turn, head straight for shore, and not go to shore too fast that I'm going to hit shore and hurt myself. And as I slowed down for shore, the snowmobile broke through the ice, and there was about a half an inch of ice, and I just went from probably about 2 kilometers across 200 feet of water at the deepest point, and that was a real eye-opener. So I approach it differently now. I don't go towards Fishbowl. I go around the other part of the lake.
Yeah, I remember that time. I was at the cottage. You were going out to check the ice, and figure you're just going to be out for 45 minutes, just going up the lake to check the ice, and a few hours go by. You're not around. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? You show up, and you had to make a giant loop around the lake because, where you ended up on shore, it was amazing you were even able to get like up to the road.
I thought for sure I was walking to Maple Ridge and walking all the way to town because it's a very steep shoreline. And just where I happened to land the snowmobile, I started looking, and somebody had built a path down to the lake, and I got on that path and drove all the way up to Maple Ridge, and I was absolutely astonished that path was there. But worked out okay. Could have been worse.
And was that on the old 05 Rev?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Old reliable. Had a lot of revs.
How many kg we put on that sled?
35,000.
Yeah. I think the speedo really stopped working around 25,000, but it was around for a long time. That was your retirement tour snowmobile.
That's right. Didn't go to Quebec again until
Was
last
that
year.
the red
Or
one?
the year before.
The red
Yep,
Rev you
yep.
had?
Well, yeah,
You
you
had
guys
the black.
kind of
Mine was
stopped
black.
the same year, right? Like bought
Yeah.
new sleds every year, and then
Yeah.
05,
Yep.
you were like, okay,
Never bought a new ones till 15.
yeah. Why'd you guys retire?
Burned out from trail
Yeah.
riding.
Too
Yeah.
much trail riding. Plus, I was fueling. You guys had, you and your brother had a snowmobile each. Mom had a snowmobile. I had a snowmobile. And we had a spare, maybe a couple spares. So a fleet for sure. We still enjoyed snowmobiling.
A fleet of junk.
So I could have went and bought a new one and rode myself, or we could have rode old snowmobiles and we all rode. And maybe I should have rode myself.
You won't be riding anymore.
I know. Well, I would be. It's in
Just
my blood.
Not doing this.
It's in my blood. No, I wouldn't be doing this.
Because you guys kind of, 2015 was your last real trip you were going to do to the mountains. I don't think you planned it as that, but I ended up tagging along with you in 2015 to go to Wyoming because a couple other guys had to bail out. That was my first time to the mountains. And then nobody went the next year,
That's only
Right?
because I think that's the year
2016. 2016. 2016.
2016. No, the only year I ever missed. 2016. No, the only year I ever missed. 2016. No, the only year I ever missed. 2016. 2016. No, the only year I ever missed. 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 2016. No, the only year I ever was
No, you didn't.
the year I
Nobody
built
went.
the cabin.
Nobody went in 2016.
No, I've always been. Had to
Okay. Okay, then in 2017 was the first year we actually drove out. Same with you. You drove out with your own sleds, right? You never took your own sled before that.
It's what
It's a
sled?
little blurry.
Yeah, it's a little blurry. What sled do I have?
Dude, 17, we drove out. Remember me,
Yeah.
you, Alex Hamilton, and Taylor?
Yeah, I don't
Their
remember
sleds,
what
remember?
snowmobiles.
I had a
No,
137.
we rent. Most
you
of us
rented?
rented.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we had
I
my
didn't go
snowmobile,
that
your
year.
snowmobile.
Yeah.
No, you went. Yeah.
Was I there? What the hell was I riding? A
Yeah.
I
rental?
guess so. Yeah.
We rented from Full
Okay.
Speed.
We brought Rob's sled, Alex, and
Yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
even remember.
Yeah.
I remember the trailer broke in half on the way home. The frame.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Yeah,
was the
with
first-
Taylor's truck. Towed it with Taylor's truck, yeah.
Yeah. The year we came, it hadn't snowed for 3 weeks, and pretty much the day we were leaving, I knew it was snowing, and I'm like trying to convince everybody that we needed to stay for a couple more days, and Alex is just like, no, I'm out. He booked a flight home with Rob, and then it was. I almost convinced you and Taylor to stay a few more days for the good snow. But we had to hit the road, and
I was
I
down.
remember seeing pictures of just handlebar deep snow, and I was so mad because going my first trips. That's all I ever dreamed of was that handlebar deep snow. So it was a little frustrating. And then 2018, nobody was gonna go. I don't think you went that year. You didn't.
I went to the Chick Chalks with you guys at Christmas because I knew I couldn't come out here.
So then 2018. Nobody made plans to go, so I was just like, okay, I'm going by myself. And then, like 2 weeks before I left, was it? You hopped on board, and you didn't come with me, but
How did I get out here? I had my own sled.
you drove with. Did you drive with Taylor that year?
Yes, that's right. We brought, and Kenny came.
Yeah.
And
So it was just the three of you that came out, I
Yeah.
think, and for about 2 weeks, and I was here for a month.
Yeah, I remember I stayed with you in that
Basement
that
rental.
basement rental. It was
There
on
was
mattress
no-
on the floor.
Yeah. Unfinished basement.
No cooking facility.
Well, there was a hot plate. There was no kitchen. There was it was pretty barren.
No, 2018 was the year that we stayed at the Peaks because it was my last year in school. I flew out here on reading week. I remember I got in super late and I didn't know what room you guys were in, and it was freaking cold, and I just had all my bags. I'm staying in the Peaks parking lot, calling you guys. No one's answering. It's like 1 a.m. I had to call Matthew. I think you were in town doing something. I was like, what room is it, dude?
Yeah, there's 2019. I remember because it was the same year I wrote off my 19 free ride.
Oh, yeah, maybe it was.
I don't remember.
We were here.
No.
You sure?
Yeah. We stayed in the Peaks in 19. 18 was the year at the basement apartment.
Okay.
17 was the first year.
So I did 17, 19,
19.
20, 21. Wow, it's quite a few years now.
Yeah.
It's all a blur, though.
Yeah. It seems crazy to look back and see how many years we've been doing this with you guys.
So I need to ask you a question.
What?
When you went to Wyoming the very first year,
Yeah.
did you think that this would be a passion of yours when you went out there?
Oh yeah, I knew it was gonna be like. Well, I always watched you go out when you just left me at home because you didn't love me enough to take me to the mountains. And so I just always dreamed of it. Finally had the opportunity. I remember we had rental sleds. You were on a Skidoo. I was on a Polaris, and I threw a hissy fit because
You wanted the
I
Skidoo.
wanted the Skidoo. And so you gave me the Skidoo because I was such a brat. Yeah. And
Nothing's
then
changed.
I remember we had Lefty as a guide, the one-armed guide.
Yeah.
And, I just absolutely loved it, ripping around, having a blast. And I think you even said, like, that Lefty said or something along those lines of, I should be a guide or,
Yeah.
I remember that.
progressed to that. You
Yeah, he
never
said-
told me that at the time
No.
because you didn't want me to.
No, he said you had a real natural talent for the mountains and that you should become a guide, snowmobile guide in the mountains.
I could never guide.
Yeah, you're too much of an asshole.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, then when you started really enjoying it and getting into it, I remember, we were all out riding. I'm not sure. It must have been here. And then I remember Eric saying, man, look at what I've created. Shit. Yeah, monster.
That's for sure.
Yeah, we went a little different route, eh? We started skiing when I was young. Then skiing was just a winter thing, and then it was always dirt bikes. And dirt bikes was my passion forever and still is. But then once I started to get better at mountain riding and enjoying it more, I would easily say that it's just as enjoyable as riding bikes.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember being younger, I think I was more interested in dirt bikes. I think that because I had an email that was like dirt biking related, so maybe I just made it at that time of year, but it quickly transitioned into sleds.
Dirt bikes are still cool.
I mean, yeah. We were never allowed to do like anything else as a kid. It was only snowmobiles in the winter, no hockey. I think we did a little bit of skiing, snowboarding.
I snowboarded one winter
Yeah.
with you and Jason. Hated every minute of it. I just took it on as a challenge, but I definitely don't like snowboarding. No, it's not
You
my
don't like
thing.
falling.
No, that's definitely was hard on the.
It's
on
a
the
different
wrists.
pace for sure. I mean, I competed downhill skiing and then freestyle and then coached for a while. It's very relaxed.
Well, you went through a backflip on skis today.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a couple of years.
Why can't you backflip a snowmobile?
I don't have a snowmobile.
You know, I think we would be more into dirt bikes if we had a better dirt bike area, but Muskoka is not a good dirt bike area.
Just
No.
old.
It's just mud and rocks, and it's you can't get going fast. There's no places with big natural jumps.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the area for
It's
dirt
hard
biking.
enduro now up there. That's
Yeah.
a new thing.
Yeah, well, that's true.
A lot of technique with that.
Yeah. Well, it's trials, high-speed trials.
I love moto, dude.
Yeah,
I love jumps.
Derek, did you ever do hockey as a kid?
No. Like
No. You didn't let him get into that?
We kind of.
how many sports am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Like he gave me every opportunity I could have possibly had. It just, I go play shinny with my friends on the rink every once in a while, but it was never something that I was like, I have to do this.
Yeah, I don't think I wanted to do it. I think probably Jason, you said, did.
Yeah, he wanted to do every sport.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, make sure you guys, when it snows again, invite him out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because
we
he's
will.
He doesn't want to come out here without me because
Yeah, he
just,
mentioned to
fin-
me, sorry to interrupt you, that he just didn't want to hold the group back.
Yeah,
I don't think he'd hold us back. Like that day we went up last weekend with him on the Saturday.
Third one up.
He was the third one up right behind us.
yeah.
Kind of left you in the dust.
I
do you
should
want
have
me
left
to do?
you in the dust.
Yeah, well.
I'm just kidding. I feel too
No.
guilty. Like when I hear you on the radio, I'm like, I gotta go back.
I used to not care, and I'd leave guys behind, and I'd go ride, and I'd want to get to the top, so I would just get to the top and not be concerned about pretty much anybody behind me. And my mentality's definitely changed over the years. I don't leave you behind very much anymore.
Well, now you go to the top and then you come back and pick up the pieces.
Pretty much.
No. I just go to the top of the knoll, then I come back down. I don't go to the top of the mountain. Because, I definitely used to have a lack of concern for group safety, maybe. Not that I wasn't concerned. I just didn't think about it as much as I do now. Getting older, more mature.
Well, it's your own safety too. Something can happen to you up there.
Exactly.
Right?
Definitely could. I used to take off a lot, so now I don't go too far, and like to make sure I always have contact with everybody on the radio. And that's a nice thing about having the trail tech on your sled now. I can kind of see if you're moving or if you're stuck. If I look at the trail tech, I see you're moving. I'm like, okay, don't need to radio them. If I don't see you're moving, I'm like,
Now I'm just going to
Got a
leave the
copy?
snowmobile running
That's my next.
because it goes gray when you shut it off.
Well, yeah, that's why if it goes gray, I try and radio you. And then if you don't answer, which you usually just don't anyway because you're shoveling and mad. But no, it's been good having the technology this year.
That's gonna.
Yeah, I think everybody needs one.
Yeah, that's gonna be my next investment.
I think we can go more places at a quicker pace.
You definitely can because, well, that one day, it wasn't just the one day, I guess, but you kind of just follow our tracks because it does get confusing when there's multiple tracks going through the woods trying to actually follow the leader. So that one day you were like right behind me, not following my track at all. Just
Way more fun
yeah.
making your own line and then just watching the other guy and just staying the same general direction, but you creating your own line.
I find that if I just zigzag back and forth, as long as I go over a track, I'm like, okay, I'm going
Yeah.
the right way.
Until you meet up another tracker and then you forget which track
Yeah.
you're following, and then it goes sideways pretty quick then.
And when you're zigzagging, like you're following the track pretty close, so sometimes you end up on the track more than you want. Whereas if you're just, this person's heading this direction, you're like, okay, I could be a couple 100 feet over this way, heading in the same direction.
Comes with confidence too, though, a little bit. I find that at the beginning of the year, I'm always pretty close to the track or on the track, poaching lines.
Yeah.
And then as I get more comfortable, I break off on my own and, get to pull my own lines. And
It is, you don't want to be 100% reliant on this technology either because it does not always work 100%.
Glitches out.
Yeah, so it's kind of have to find the balance of the two. But what was your highlight of the trip this year?
I think Alaska.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like how we call it Alaska every time we refer
Northern-
to it.
Just because we touched the tip of it, we're going to call it Alaska. I
Yeah.
know we rode northern BC, but we drove through a piece of Alaska to get there, and it was cool. The road trip, the anticipation of going someplace else, and
Not knowing what we were going to find, if we were
Yeah.
going to find snow.
yeah,
Then on day 3 when we really hit it, that was everyone just, we talked about it before. It was good.
Dad, does that make you a little jealous? Because it makes me a little jealous.
Yeah. Well, we're at home packing to come here, and
Yeah.
we were hearing that you guys were heading there. We're going, oh man.
Yeah.
It wasn't, oh,
I
man.
like
it was
the
Dude.
exploration. The exploration part is what I've always loved.
the glacier with the cave was cool, really cool. Yeah, the old mine.
that stuff. I
Yeah,
really
you
love
guys,
that.
it would have been you guys up there because we didn't get into anything technical really. It was just explore.
Yeah.
Would have been good. But
Cool.
did you have anything that stands out, a highlight from the trip this year?
Well, we had those certain areas off of Boulder there. It's a good exploration up there.
What area? Day with
Oh
the
yeah,
sunshine.
that was beautiful. Yeah.
That was probably the
Yeah.
best riding we had around
That
here.
was one of the first days.
Yeah, that was early on in
Yeah.
the trip
Remember?
Yeah, Kenny
when
was
it was
still here.
cold
Yeah.
That was a great day. Yeah,
but clear, nice. Yeah.
completely untouched. We're the only tracks.
Yeah, that was a good one.
2 other people, but they went a different direction, and
Yeah.
we just carved the POW in the Alpine with sunshine all day. Full tank of gas, actually. I got shit for burning too much gas.
And that day we went up toward. That was nice up there.
Derek, any highlights so far for you, or just lowlights?
No. I mean, obviously, it's like a little ego reducer after you smash a snowmobile, but I think I really enjoyed, I guess it was Saturday when we went up there where that chute
Yeah.
was and everything. The tree riding was super good.
And the snow was amazing.
Yeah,
there.
and it's any day that we rode trees before the big thaw, I really enjoyed. There's no specific day. It's just, obviously I'm on an NA, so it's a little different than what I'm used to, but just progressing in a different way. Tree riding is cool. Haven't done any jumping, but I would say that day for sure.
You like the tree riding a lot more these days? Or you're just scared of that?
I hate sunny days, man. Yeah, no. I do love, I love jumping and stuff like that, but learn to grow and love tree riding more and more.
We didn't do jumping with Jerry's this year.
No jumping.
The snow is pretty low this year too, right? So
You
you
guys
gotta
should have
watch.
hit that little jump that we hit the other day.
Wow. I need a little more cushion on the landing.
Yeah, like 10 feet of fluff.
I've gone over the handlebars this year probably more than ever, though.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you stand on the ski going down a hill.
Insert club.
Oh, no. Oh, get on. Get on the other side. Oh, the wrong side. Oh.
Didn't learn a lot about riding this year, but yesterday I did learn to make it a little more effortless to get the snowmobile on its side, and that's to put more leg power in it and less arm power. I usually get it up on the side with full-on upper body, but if you just bounce on the running board that you want to come up, it
Kind of just like put your foot onto the rail of the running board and just give it a little input. It's really all it needs. Doug, did you learn anything this year?
I'm side hilling both directions now, which you have to do. Certain areas, especially where you drop us in. We had some pretty exciting drops this year, I found.
we had good snow for dropping, though. That's what made it fun.
Not when it's a big luge run.
No.
Yeah.
The luge doesn't go well.
Like yesterday, even the shovel out, that little section just before you had the side hill, that was, you could tipped it on its side, it just slid down because it got all iced up, right?
Yeah.
And that's not even a hill. Imagine that on those steep hills.
Be frightful.
Crazy how quick the snow conditions changed. One day it was so good, and then the next day, still good, but not as enjoyable.
Well, we had like really good snow, and then it's just warm to the top, and it's unfortunate. And the forecast isn't looking too good. I think once it cools off here in a couple days, it's going to be unrideable, honestly.
You're going to buy GT snow racers.
I can't complain. I got 4 weeks in, which I usually do a little bit more, a little over 4.5 weeks, and never rode a bad day of snow other than basically the camping trip, but that's why we went camping. Right, so.
Are you going to make a little tour, come back in the spring for?
No, I'm leaving my truck at the airport, and everything's ready to go. So got fuel in the skid tank, got oil in the trailer, let's hope, leaving all my gear out here. So.
Well, if the snow gets good and, the sun's going to
Either
shine.
that or you hook up to the trailer and drive to some place there's good snow, and I'll fly down and meet you there.
How about you, Dad? You're going to come back?
Hopefully, end of February maybe. Towards there.
February, March, if the conditions are good, you guys should definitely come for a few days.
We got a trip planned to Quebec at starting February 28th, so come back for a week and then come here for a week. Be perfect.
Do you know how many Ks on your sled?
Which the 24?
The turbo, yeah.
Almost 600, I think.
Okay, that sucks.
I knew what you were going with that.
I thought there was like 1,200 on it. I just looked at it yesterday.
Unplug the gauge, it'll be all right. Anything else you guys have taken away from this year?
I'm glad we figured out the trail tech. I wish we would have had it sooner in the season, but that's a definite necessity. And Derek, mine's in the trailer if you want to use it.
Okay.
Whatever you're riding, just plug into it.
No, I definitely will. It's super handy just to see where everyone is.
No charger yet, though. It needs to have a charger, so it's charged right now, but
I ordered chargers for it in December.
Still not here.
Tech for me next year. Hope they have a bigger screen because
You can't see it?
no,
It's okay, we can see
that's important.
Yeah.
Are you going to be jealous of me and Derek just out here shredding while you guys are back home at work?
That makes me feel like
right,
Yeah.
if I leave here and I know there's fresh snow falling, last year I was really bummed going home.
Yeah.
Because the riding wasn't that. When I got home, I went for a ride that day, and it was rocks, and then.
And we got awesome snow.
And you got awesome snow here. I was pretty bummed, but I can't really. I actually feel bad for you guys, because the snow is not very good here, and I know how much. If I was out here, how important it is to have good snow, because You guys really don't have any other hobbies other than snowmobiling.
I can ski.
We could drink.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna have to do something if it doesn't.
Well, you guys
snow
were
here.
talking about building a cabin.
Well, talked about building a log cabin, getting some old beater sleds, or going home, going to California, going to Alaska. I don't know.
Lots of snow in California.
Anything could happen. Alaska has the most base out of anywhere, but I don't know where the fresh snow is going to land. It looks like it's definitely California over the next few days.
I've never been to
Do
California.
they have many good riding areas in California?
I've never been.
I have no idea. We'd have to find a guide,
Oh man,
a local.
I'm gonna get hosed.
Been to California before. I just can't imagine riding there. No trees. And a lot of California.
Is there a lot of rocks there?
The rocks are smoothened off a little bit.
All right. Well, I think that's about all we got for tonight. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure riding with you guys. It's a lot of fun every year. Already looking forward to the next trip.
Awesome.
And yeah, enjoy Ontario.
I'm terrible. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching the podcast, guys. To finish it out here, I just want to talk about South Simcoe Machine Quick. We are running their Milwaukee pack-out system across all of our sleds. It's just so easy to switch from sled to sled to sled, and we don't have to worry about dealing with the iced up link brackets at the end of the day. We just pop that Milwaukee box off, bring it in the house, and we're good to go for the next day. Be sure to check them out. They've got lots of other products to offer as well.